Okay, so we talked about making this little DM token thing and how it's basically an invisible character that has its own character sheet and abilities. So we can add those abilities. Each one of them has a name and a field of text where we can put stuff in, and a little check mark to make it a visible token. So I like to think of the dungeon master also has a character sheet. It's over here in the collection menu, uh, and it's these macros. So abilities are macros, and macros are just like abilities. So it has a name and it has a field where you can put some stuff. So one of the most common macros that I use is the GM initiative roller. Excuse me. So I'm going to just copy what I got over here, and like I say, you have access to all this stuff, so you can just copy and paste it. Open up two windows, two different Roll20s, and just copy them over. Um, but what this one does is the GM will roll a d20 and add the selected character's dexterity modifier to that roll, and then add the roll to the tracker. So here's the one that we just made. We can't see it in a button down here, so we click this little box and it shows up at the bottom. Now we can select a character, hit GM, and it rolls initiative. So like if you have a whole bunch of monsters, that makes it way faster than having to open up each one of their character sheets. And if I can switch over here, find the button, click it, close it, or oh shit, I meant to minimize it. Like it just takes down a lot of error. You get really quick with it. So then this is useful information. If you want to delete one, go to it, roll down, and there's the delete macro button. Took me forever to find that thing. So then another one is the NPC saves. So one of these guys cast a fireball, everybody got hit, and now I got to go make a dexterity save for everybody, and that takes forever. So now you can just click on there, hit NPC saves, and it will do all the saves. So you can just go through each of them and just do all the saves for all those characters, and just go back and see who failed and who passed or whatever. And like say that somebody was like, oh no, you're supposed to make a Constitution save and a Charisma save, or wait, that wasn't Dexterity, it was actually Strength or whatever. They're all right there, so it saves a lot of time. You can also do that on anybody, like on a player character too. And this is all being whispered to you, right? So if you wanted to do a behind the scenes roll on somebody's character, you'd be like, I just did a perception check roll. You did not see it. You know what I mean? Like you just rolled wisdom and you didn't see it. Whatever. Like you just failed a roll that you didn't even know you took. That's kind of shicey, but it's an interesting DM tool if you wanted to use it. Whatever. It's your story. So single passive perception is also pretty cool. If you want to know what somebody's passive perception is, click single passive perception, and it throws it up in the chat. So that's what it always is. But if somebody just levels up and they're like, and you wanted to know what their passive perception was, you could just figure that out. There's another button over here. See, the single passive perception, this is how big the text is. You see it uses that same template default too. Template default name blank, just like the traps we were doing yesterday. So it shows up in this purple square with the name and whatever is inside of it, and then the result of a roll. So you could use this as a template to make another thing. You know, if you just figure out that I'm supposed to delete this and add something else. Whatever. Anyway, so like I just copy and paste this, but this one is pretty simple looking. It's only 2 lines of text. This one, the passive perception, obviously I copied this from somebody else because it's huge and confusing, but I saw that they had perception and then like the person's name and then the person's name and the person's name. So I was like, oh, I could put everybody's character name in here and then be able to just hit this passive perception and it would roll everybody's passive perception. Neat, right? But I was trying to figure it out, and I was like, it's just way easier. I already have the solution if I just click on one and hit that, and click on one and hit that. Like, how much longer is it really going to take me? I have to put it in one button. it was cool that somebody's working on it. I applaud them in their work, and I tried to make it work myself. But y'all were playing characters that were just gonna die. So if I needed to know passive perception, I just did it. And like I said, it's whispered. This is not whispered. So all I would have to do is add /WGM space, save the changes, and now when I do it, you can't tell that I'm checking your passive perception. So if something's sneaking up on you, I don't go, by the way, what's your passive perception? And then you know what it is. You know that somebody's hunting you. Um, and yeah, I guess that's all we'll talk about. We can talk about rollable tables and shit later. That's the clock I was using. It is also a character, sort of, um, but it is a multi-sided character. And so like you can see all. This is basically just a die that has pictures, and I'm deciding what picture what the picture is on each side of the die. So this is one, and then goes up to 24. So this is the 24th side. So this is like a 24-sided die, and you can of course pick which side you want, or you can roll it. You can just randomize it. And I think I would like to test this or just look into it a little bit more. But I think this button, players can roll from the table, makes this a token that you could put on the table, and like everybody's sitting around it or something, and then they're playing a gambling game where they can right click it and choose a random side. I think that might be how it works, or possibly the rollable table shows up in their. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so the rollable table shows up in their collections. They go over here and click roll, and it puts the picture that they clicked in the chat. So yes. Anyway, and another cool thing you could do with this is you can make it as big as you'd like, and it's just a graphical art asset. So you could find any sequenced image online, and then just put each sequence as a side of the die, and you could have like phased combat. So you could just take this and it's actually move it to the map layer. So now everybody's fighting on top of this giant clock, and as turns progress, I can move it so like they can all see that time is ticking down. You better hurry up, or maybe the floor is falling out from underneath you, and that's actually like a graphical um, representation of that. And like remember the other campaign that I did. So I found that sequence of a shark like coming up out of the water, like breaching. So that I just put each image on one side of a rollable token, made the rollable token the map, and that's really easy because we were in a boat. It's not like I had to line up to a grid anywhere other than the boat. So uh, the ocean was really easy. But you can Google, Reddit, all kind of sequenced images or phased combat, phased maps, sequenced maps. People made a ton of shit. Anyway, that's good. Talk about something later.